You, my friend.
Wow,
Hey.
thank you.
Let's grab
Thank
your
you.
mic.
Okay.
Please see it there.
Okay, thank you. Well, number one, thank you guys for showing up. I mean, I really appreciate it, and I'm just really overwhelmed to be here. This place is the coolest place I've ever seen in my whole career. It really is. It's
He has had a career.
yeah, I've been a few places, you know, and seen a few things, and I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with everything that's happening here, because what I've done is I've seen egos, so many egos driving this whole business and stuff, and so much money. There's been so much money in it. It's really kind of turned my stomach, you know, all of that stuff, and it never was that for me, ever, you know. And it's different here. It's just different. You guys are the ones that are staying with it, and you're continuing. And you're continuing for the right reasons, not just because you make a bunch of fucking money, you know. It's good.
So I was going to ask Jorge about how did this day go, but I don't think I have to ask that anymore. So it's such a pleasure to have you here. I mean, when I first started growing, of course, and many of you as well, you read his books. When YouTube came along, you watched his YouTube videos. And it's just such a pleasure to have you here. And what I want to do with this fireside chat with Jorge is not just say what cannabis will look like in the future, because right here, all together, we are building it. But it's maybe time to address some of the frustrations with the current industry, a lack of best practices, the sustainability in cannabis. But let's start where we start with cannabis. Let's start with the genetics.
Excellent idea. Excellent idea. You know, for example, 2 years ago, I was a judge for the cannabis flowers at Spana Business. Cannabis flowers for sativa. Sativa, mind you. Every sample I had about 32 samples, they all tasted and smelled like Kush. There was very little deviation in between anything, you know. And well, we just planted some of, or spread some of David Watson's ashes out around the haze plants that you're growing here today. And David would be really proud of everybody in this room, because you know that you're carrying on. And the thing is, he was a real big advocate of a broad spectrum of genetics, a lot of different deviations. And what we've seen now is the amalgamation of everything. It's all gone into one big ball, and there's like a big deviation. I've seen it all over the world. I mean, literally in Colombia, they've got a dozen varieties, right? A dozen, that's what everybody's using. And you go up to this plateau and it stays there. And they were staying between 12 and 18% THC, because that's the main thing most people have been measuring. And that's what it's all been based on. It's been based on two things. THC content and how much does it weigh. Oh yeah, and then the third thing is how fast is it? Because people, you know, I mean, they don't dry it very well or anything, you know, it's all been about the money. And it's so refreshing to see you guys think about other things, you know. I mean, we just listened to Timo's talk about well, number one, saving resources and labor, and also time, so you get 6 crops a year, which makes tons of sense. But everything is based on stable genetics. You gotta have stable genetics. Without that, you can't do anything. I mean, you really can't. Because, you know, like my original haze or my original haze. You took this original haze from me. I remember when you did it, I was really stoned that one night, and then you found it, and then well, anyway, we had this partnership, dude, and it fell apart because you're an asshole. You know, I mean, I how many times, has anybody ever heard that story? You know, and I'm just sick of this because it's a circular thing, and we got to have stability and bring the science into it, because like Timo's talk was really inspiring to me, because the deal is everything was measured and there was a quantitative result from everything, and it was consistent, and you measure three different varieties. Well, okay, they had to be just from one source, though, because we don't have any standardization, and we need the standardization. Whether we like it or not, we need that. And we're at that point in our industry, because right now, things are just kind of like going around in circles. Until I started paying attention to the science and everything, because the science has been coming up more and more and more. They're studying, well, for the example, in the United States, they've got, I don't know, all kinds, like, I don't know, 40 different university programs that are involved with hemp. Well, they're mainly in hemp, but all of those guys, it's a small step to the next place, you know, to drug cannabis.
And so when you wrote your first book, was that on your mind back then? Like sustainability and, you know, good genetics and less labor in the grow room? Was that on your mind at all?
No. What was on my mind is not going to jail.
Yeah.
No, don't go to jail. There was one rule back then. We all know what it was. Don't get caught. That's it. One rule. And it was a lot easier back then. It really was in that way, because now it's a lot more complicated. There's so much specialization and everything everywhere. I'm totally blown away by what's happening here. It really
One thing, because
inspiring.
You're super passionate about cannabis and you know, growing all kinds of plants. It's fun, you know, it's healing to do. Right? And so, are you afraid that as we're making these advancements in technology, you know, with AI and everything, and you know, the smart cameras and all this stuff, do you think it will take the fun out of growing cannabis? No,
it'll never take the fun out of it. I mean, I like getting my hands dirty, you know? I like touching plants. It only enhances things. It will if you let it, but I don't know, I like soil. I like plants. I like touching them. I like being around them. I see flowers and I get happy. You know, I really do. I see color and it makes me happy. We were born around plants. We came from that part of it. We've got a lot of the same genes. Come on. I mean, it's important.
And so, because you didn't paid attention too much to the sustainability of cannabis, to the standardization, are you writing a new book where you know, put emphasis on that?
Yeah, I mean, the part about the book world is since the internet has been developed and it's everywhere, and we've got Wi-Fi all over the place, it's been good and bad. On the one side is it was pretty much put my publishing business out of business, you know. I mean, it has. But and at first, you know, it made me nervous and everything. But now, I'm excited. I'm excited because what it's done for me is it means that we can share information everywhere. We can share. I can talk directly. Before, see, for example, I'm real big in the Latin world. Latin America. There are more people talk Spanish than English, for example. Okay, those guys just don't have as much money, that's all. So it's been a problem. Distribution's been a real problem. Because, like, for example, if you look at Latin America, there's two dominant languages there, Spanish and then Portuguese, right? So So the distances are so great, the mountains are so big and everything, and the infrastructure, the roads are, you know, marginal in a lot of places. You can't distribute books around. So if there's a book, it's got to be passed around. Well, you can't communicate with a lot of people for that reason. But since the internet, for example, I think one of the biggest users of Facebook, for example, used to be Chileans. It's the biggest percent of people. I don't know, that's an old stat. But yeah, I mean, it's a good deal. So, and you know, and the other thing is, you know, those guys are really good at copying stuff too. So I got no, oh no. See, that's the most sincere form of flattery. You know, being copied. God, I mean, my stuff's been copied a lot. It's okay.
Quickly go back to when we were spreading David Watson's ashes onto his plants. You choked up, man. You got real emotional. What did that mean to you?
David was a friend of mine.
He was a legend, man.
Yeah, but he lived and breathed cannabis. You know, I mean, he's done so much, and he was just all around. I mean, you know, God, I've known him for years and years. You know, sometimes we drive. Well, sometimes he drives me nuts. Sometimes I drive him nuts. You know, but he's the one that did the work. You know, man, I mean, and it was a big deal. I don't know. I didn't expect it. I don't really quite know how to respond. I could say a bunch of stuff. It's just we just gotta respect him and not copy his stuff, you know, because I know people that are taking his stuff and copying it, and they're I don't see how you can give those guys ever any respect, you know. There's a lot of usury going on in this industry. So that I can deal with, but the personal relationship with David, well, I knew him when he was, you know, oh man, when I first moved, well, when I moved over from the United States, actually I moved from Canada over to, because I'd gone from the United States to Canada and spent a couple of years there in BC, and then from there I moved over to the Netherlands. And, you know, so I met him straight away there. And because, see, I didn't really know him in the United States. Yeah, because he was underground. We were in different circles, so to speak. He was always ahead of me, to be perfectly honest. And he's more dedicated, because I've always been, you know, a gardener, but a publisher. That's what I do. That's what my profession is. I grew up as a publisher. I worked at a newspaper office when I was young, during the high school, you know, gymnasium, I think you call it here, or secundaria in Hispanic. And so I knew a lot about publishing, and fortunately, it's when desktop publishing came in, and the small, the Osborne and the K-Pro CPM computers came in. I was very fortunate because it was very timely, you know. But David was just way ahead of me as far as plants go and science, and I'm way ahead. So I give him, you know, like incredible respect. Always have.
Do you think people in the industry, especially the like licensed producers and the new kids on the block, do you think we get a story of David and that history of cannabis enough across to them, or do you think it's you know, more of a legend kind of thing that will slowly die out? How do we keep his legacy alive?
How do we keep it alive? How do we keep a lot of the hard times alive? Because see, a lot of people now, they don't have any idea what it was like before to not be able to sleep at night, to cross borders. The fear, I mean, I remember David being like super paranoid about stuff, and for good reason. Jesus, you know, I mean, there's a, my God, you I don't know, you got older guys here, right? Next week I'd be 72 years old.
You're here.
Yeah, so, thank you. I hope I see you, I come back here when I'm 73.
Okay, so see you next week.
Yeah, no, 70, next year,
Yeah.
one more year, a year and a week. But to keep this alive, we're the ones that have to do it, and the printed word is going to help a lot. And rather than any kind of thing like dogmatic stuff, we start some foundations, start some things that, you know, where the guy's really honored. Because what happens is, in an industry like this, there's still a lot of ego, I have to say, you know. And I'll tell you, I'm from the United States. I grew up there. I spent the last 25 years in Spain, so about a third of my life I've spent there. So I've looked back at the United States, and I have to say, I see a lot of ego, especially from that country. And don't get me wrong, it's been other places too. There's a lot here in Netherlands too, eh? I can't just point the one finger. I can point all of these fingers a lot of places. So one of the things that I believe we need to do is to look at this in a broader sense and step out of it as a person and look at it from outside, and what do we want to do to create our own history? Because we have a history. We have a real good history. It's just other people, a lot of times the DEA has been dictating policy for us, you know. And in a lot of ways they still do. And a lot of times the politicians do, and they have a bigger podium than us. But we're strong, but we all got to work together. We got to work together. I'm seeing a hand here.
No, that's just Leslie filming.
Okay.
So you'll be back here next year.
Yeah.
Is there something that we could do together to help address some of the unmet needs in this industry in terms of promoting some best practices, getting the right mindset with people? Because ultimately we're creating a product that is supposed to be improving people's lives, right? So how can we make such a product if we do not respect each other, even if we're competitors?
Oh, okay. Well, that's one of the things I've seen here. There's a lot of respect, because one of the big things I see is, because of the way this industry grew, and it grew up, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and there's all these guys that they're like little gangs. They own their turf. They own their turf over here. They own their turf here. And then, for example, in the United States and here too, because for one thing, there's a language barrier, but also there's geographic barriers too. So, and the internet's helped a lot with that. So, one of the biggest places where things fall apart is the science here that's being done here, to share that science with the guys that are in the trenches that are doing the work. The home growers are incredibly strong. I want to see those guys know how to go from clone to flower straight away. But they need to learn how to do that. They need to know what to do. And that's what my job is. What I've always been able to do, one of the things I've been able to do, and it's been real simple, it's just like ABC to me. It's like, take something complex, make it simple, so everybody understands. Because I'll tell you what, I'm the first guy that needs to understand what the heck's going on, so I can tell everybody else. Because there's a lot of real smart people out there now. I mean, and they're well educated. My God, I mean, I'm educated. I have a university degree, but it's not in botany. It's not in microbiology. You know, it's in filosofía y letras. You know, it's liberal arts. I know how to write. I know how to publish. I know how to do that, and I've done an okay job of it. You know. So that's what I think. I think we need to share this science with everybody in the world. And that's the way to do it, and not be stingy about it, because so many times it's just been proprietary. You know, I do all this work and then it belongs to me. No, fuck that. Give it to everybody. That's what I think.
Yeah, okay. That's a powerful statement. So this is exactly why we have this initiative with our interns, both as an educational tool to get more great people and young potentials in the industry, but also to get the knowledge out there. I mean, of course, we do confidential trials for our clients as well, right? The client pays us to run a trial, and they own that data, and it's up to them what they do with that. Apart from that, we are, a high traffic facility. We open up our doors. We have the platform for exposure. And as you said, you can tell it to people, but seeing is believing.
Right. They got to get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
They've got to make their experiments. They got to make their own mistakes. Unless somebody makes mistakes, they don't really learn. I'm kind of stupid that way. I got to touch things, and I got to feel it and see, and then I learn that way. And that's just me. But I think there's a few other people like that.
So, question, Jorge. Why didn't you, in those 50 years that you've been authoring about cannabis, so why did you never try the NoVeg method?
Be what?
The NoVeg method.
No, I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue that worked, because everybody said, oh, this is the way you do it. And that was the common knowledge, and ignorance. One word, ignorance. I didn't know. That's why. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's very simple.
How do you feel about this cultivation strategy now you've seen some of this in action?
I want to get my hands dirty. I want to make some mistakes. That's what I think.
Yeah, here at Innexo we make the most mistakes, right? So, and that's why I tell my guys is in like an internship, I expect you to make mistakes, because if you do not make mistakes, you're not learning, and I can't teach you. And if we make mistakes and we own up to those mistakes all together, then everybody learns and everybody wins. And this is how you turn a mistake into something positive.
Make it positive. You got to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you're not playing, and you're not playing hard enough.
So
simple.
Let's do something together to get like both of our messages across to the industry. I would love to work with you in the coming years, right? And you and your crew. So
Yeah. Me and my crew's sitting right here.
Yeah, you have one hell of a crew.
Yeah. I mean, he does the work of 9 people. What can I say?
Exactly. You got to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody. I'm a big proponent of that. Hang out with people that are smarter than me, that know things that I don't. But just that have a basic intelligence bigger than yours. That's what I do, and it's a lot of times pretty humbling, but damn, it works. It's great.
Yeah, And so, is there any other message that you want to get across to this wonderful audience today?
Share all your information. Share things. Help people.
So that includes phone number and social security number?
No. No. Be very careful. Be very careful. You know, like the obvious things. But when you do something right in the garden, when you've got different varieties, you know, make partnerships with people, but be forthcoming with your information. For example, one of the things that my partner, Stefan Meyer, that he did was he talked me into my last book. You know, I mean, it took me quite a while to write and everything and publish, and it was expensive, and it took me a while to write, and I made a little bit of money at it, like a living kind of money. He talked me into giving it away for free. We posted it on my website, and now, because it was just in English. I already translated it into Spanish, but it wasn't worth publishing. I couldn't get my money back out of it in less than 3 years, and the 3-year deadline was that was a stretch. I didn't know what would happen in the next 3 years. So, given that, I was able to publish this book, and not for way less money, and give it away. Now it's in 11 languages. I am so proud of that. That's like a great deal. You know, that's what we need to do. We need to give, to help people. And that was a little bit I do to help. That's it. Cannabis Encyclopedia.
Ooh.
Cannabis Encyclopedia.
How many pages?
About 600. 600. It's an A4 format, 3 columns. Jesus, you know, I mean, maybe you guys have seen the marijuana horticulture book. A lot of people call it the Grow Bible. Yeah. Well, it's got twice as many words in there, and it's updated. And I think most of the information's correct.
So that's 600 pages, not including NoVeg. So if you want to learn nothing about NoVeg, read his book, 600 pages. So, but can we expect a follow-up?
No. What I want to do is, I got big plans, see? Big plans. We got this thing called the Internet.
Oh.
The Internet is, it knows no borders. I mean, I had all kinds of problems with borders, you know. I mean, I have to say this. You know what? Okay, I'm very proud of this. In Australia, we used to smuggle books in there because they have a censorship board. It took those guys more than $1 million US and 3 years to catch me.
Oh, wow.
Very proud of that. Yeah. And then Canada, that's a whole other story. You know, I mean, Canada back before, that was way tough. I used to ship books up there about every 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. This happened for about 3 years, 4 years, 4 years. And I got to say thank you, Mark Emery. He's the guy that got my books in there. He's the guy that had the balls to get my books in there. But I would ship them up there every 3 to 6 months religiously for like 3.5, 4 years. They would beat the books up at the border and send them back every time. It cost me a fortune, and it was real disheartening. You know, I mean, it's just hard. You gotta keep going.
Yeah. Thanks for never giving up. Thanks for never giving up. That's awesome. Yeah. And I think this man is an example of not giving up and you know, staying true to his heart, to his passion. Still, you know, thinking with the industry, still evolving at 72 years old. And it's
Next week. I'm not 72 yet. I'm 71 now.
But I think, like, this is also my personal credo. Giving up is not in my textbook, right? I've been in the cannabis industry for almost 20 years. I could have given up a bunch of times, right? And the one time that I actually came closest to it was about like 2 months before I co-founded Innexo. That was my absolute lowest point.
Yeah.
And I even applied for other jobs outside the industry, and thank God I did, because I love my job. And I always had the ambition to retire at 40, but that's not gonna happen because I love my job too much. Because every day we learn something new. Every day, everybody's smiling over here. I think that's a big part of the success of Innexo, that everybody's in it for the same thing. And yeah, so we look up to you in terms of not giving up.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been tough a bunch of times. It's been more than one time I thought about giving up. Trust me, I mean it's true. You get down, you get low, and then like nobody's there to help either. You don't have anybody around you. You're all alone,
Well,
It's a horrid feeling. But now it's not.
Today, we're not alone, for sure. I mean, this has been the best turnout we've ever had. It's incredible to share this experience with all of you guys, and to have an event finally where it's not just about the plant, it's with the plant, right? And today it was with Jorge and with all you guys. There's gonna be some networking that we can do after. I'm sure that many people want to take a picture with you or selfie with you. Just before we go, let me just try something. Does anybody know what time it is in South Korea? So it's because there's one guy missing from the team. He is from South Korea, and he is in South Korea now. So
Just floating. He's sleeping, man.
should I call him?
Of course.
Okay, this is good. Let's call him. So it's Mr. Song. Mr. Song also did his internship at Innexo, and he's doing a double master's. And we said, well, you got a place here, so do your double master's and come still working here. So let's see if this works, eh? And otherwise, we'll leave him a nice voice or a face message. So
Show him the audience too.
yeah, for sure. Everybody can say hi to Song if he picks up. I hope he picks up.
We'll find out if he sleeps naked.
So, last time, like in May, we had Ryan Lee Chimera here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Good friend. Yeah.
And Mr. Song is a big fan, And by coincidence, he wasn't here. So as you know or may not know, I published a book as well about cannabis.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Song isn't replying, so we'll get back to him on another occasion. But let's first make a small video for Mr. Song. So I'm gonna put it on selfie mode. So Mr. Song, we tried to call you, in the mid during the talk with Jorge. Hi. And the audience, because you're
Hey.
Well, okay, so don't worry, I'll have Jorge sign one of my books to give to you for your collection, right? Okay, see you soon, buddy. Stay well, bye-bye. All right, so the joke is he's never around for book signings, so I give him one of my books to get signed by a celebrity like Jorge, and then I give it to Mr. Song. So Mr. Song has a bunch of my books on the shelf, the autograph of other people. So I'm going to give you one of my books as well.
Excellent. Please.
In Dutch,
That's okay.
Fully self-made, pictures.
Yeah. Self-published. I start self-published.
Yeah.
I make self-published.
You know what it's called?
What's it called?
It's called Eegteelt. It means homegrown.
Oh,
And
right.
It's
Oh, right.
in Dutch, and it's basically the biggest mistake I've made in my cannabis career. Just do a book in Dutch. Who's gonna read that? Nobody's gonna read that.
It's a real small audience.
Yeah, it's a small audience, so,
yeah.
but, I'll be honored if you can sign my book.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
All right, that's good.
Be happy
All right,
to.
If the audience has any questions for Jorge, we take some questions now, or?
Yeah, sure. I hope I'm able to answer them, It's not too technical, I probably can.
Anything
Otherwise, I'll defer to some really smart people I surround myself with.
Mr. Josh. Goes to Trump.
way. Out of all the different cannabis communities and markets that you've seen here in Europe, which one do you currently think is most interesting?
It's they're rather than interesting, most interesting. It's funny. They're different. They're different. One of the things that I see here, I'm totally impressed with here in the Netherlands is it's a small country, and you're exporting vegetables out of here. You got horrid sunlight. You got wind all the time. You reclaimed a third of the land from the sea, and you managed to make a go of it. That's pretty impressive. And then because of the way the geography goes, it's all flat here, and the rivers come out here. Like the Wall River comes out there, and the Amstel River comes out, and everything. So it's got the Rotterdam's the big port. It used to be Amsterdam. So there's this big port, and it's been an open-minded place, and where everything else has been really conservative, but at least in a couple of places, especially on the coast, get inland and it's a lot more conservative. It's been a progressive place. So for that reason, everybody, the cannabis all came here to the Netherlands because there was illegal everywhere else, and that's where all of the genetics came, and you had the coffee shop culture and everything for years and years. Now, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, it made a conservative turn, and things are a bit slower here, but it speeded up other places. And here, and then, I'll tell you though, when I used to live up here, in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. But that's when they had the High Times Cup and stuff here. That was the Cannabis Cup. That was a real big thing. All these guys started showing up from Spain, and they came here and it's like, oh God, and I'd gone to school in Mexico, and I'd also been, in the 70s, right, early 70s. I was in school in Valencia, Spain. So, I talk Spanish, and I thought, the climate's a lot better down there. I'm going to go down there, and that's where I saw things change. But like I say, everything's. I was a part of the development of the cannabis. Cannabis culture there, because we had to go from hash all the way to flower, and it took some years to do that, and I was a part of that. So it's different. It's difficult to say. The most interesting, I don't look at it that way. I look at it more in every place is unique. Every place is different. France is different. They smoke more than anybody else, but it's more illegal there than anywhere else. Then Italy, they've had their ups and their downs. Then Malta, that you never hear anything about. It's a totally populated island, and there's edified everywhere. It's legal there, There's all these different changes, and then Germany. Gosh, I remember going to fairs back. What was the name then? They had them at Ketzer-Roxel and Cannabis, yeah. And I thought it'd never be legal there. Well, they were the first country to they really legalized it there. Not the first country, but there so everything's different. Everything's different. Everything's unique. Is the way I look at it.
Which country is going to be last legalized? Belgium.
You think?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Why?
We're like a country that goes without government for years. We don't get anything done. So that's why I moved to the Netherlands. that's why I work in the Netherlands. Here we get stuff done, right? So
No, that's a fact.
yeah, and as long as we stay cooperative and share the knowledge and lift each other up instead of breaking each other's back, we got a great chance of making this industry, I think, leading in agri-tech, in the crop world, new innovations that can be translated to other crops from cannabis. So other crops will learn from cannabis in the coming future. So, guys, we're out of time for today. So thank you very much for being part of this final Acceleration Day in its current format. We're looking forward to doing the next Acceleration Day end of February, beginning of March. I hope to see a lot of you guys out there as well. Jorge, we're going to have still a good collaboration in the near future.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get that message across. And for now, please enjoy the rest of the networking evening. Take a lot of pictures with Jorge now here.
Yeah.
All right? Thank you very much for Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh. Wow.
So now I can play and smoke.
Okay, yeah, I can turn this.
Yeah.
How do I turn it off?
George.